right. So thank you all for coming tonight and joining the session of learning about hypnosis. I get excited to talk about this. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about just because it's something that you can do yourself, and you don't have to have a hypnotherapist to do this for you, but I'm happy to share all the things and just to help you to understand how to explore your mind a little more and how to open up to be able to shift your beliefs and your thoughts and old patterns and behaviors maybe that you don't want so much. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I want to know though, have any of you ever been hypnotized? Have you experienced hypnotherapy, whether it's stage hypnotherapy or any hypnotherapy?
I have.
No.
Who said no? So Mar Mara's Mara's right beside us in the yurt, and she's like me. My first, I think one of my first hypnotherapy sessions was with you, Jenny, and you helped me to break through a glass ceiling, a ceiling that was stopping me from growing and moving beyond what was limiting. Thank you.
Absolutely. Um, there's lots of different ways that you can use hypnotherapy. Some people do use it in the clinical sense, which is how I do it. There is also stage hypnotherapy, which it's more hypnosis, not really therapy, but it's a real thing. People do get on stage and act a fool and are really hypnotized. And it's usually the people that are very susceptible to um, using their imagination. Also, maybe they were like the class clown in school or something like that. So um, it's a real thing, but a lot of people are very skeptical about it because of different reasons. And we're going to bust some of those myths tonight, and then find out if there's anything that you all have had questions about or have heard or anything like that. There was a movie once that came out. It was called Hypnotic. It was a movie or a series on Netflix. And I think that kind of scared a few people because it was very manipulative. And the thing I like about hypnotherapy is all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. And so that just means that unless you don't want the change, it's not going to happen. Like you have to want whatever it is that you're going to make the changes in or the new belief system. You have to want it before you can change it. So me, I can't say anything or do anything on my end to make you do something. You have to be open to it. You have to be willing to accept the changes before anything can happen. So you're not going to be out in the middle of the street and somebody clap their hands and you start shaking your tail feather. It doesn't, unless you wanted to. I mean, if you wanted to, you definitely could do that. But I do more of the clinical sense, so just things that you really do want to change about yourself. Maybe it's your eating habits, or maybe you want to work on your weight, or you talk negatively to yourself a lot and you want to change that, or maybe you have relationship problems, or you want more self-esteem, or I've worked with people on many, many issues that people have been able to overcome through hypnotherapy. There was one lady that was public speaking and she could never, ever get in front. In fact, she had a hard time talking to me. She had a hard time making eye contact. And we did a single session, and not only was she able to get in front of her class, but she did it so much that she became one of the instructors at the whatever thing that she was in. So it doesn't always happen that way, but hypnotherapy is a great tool to have in your back pocket if you want to make some changes for yourself. So, but the only thing that you need tonight is going to be an open mind and a willingness to notice what you feel, what you see, what you can imagine. There's no right or wrong here. It's just about being aware. And so I'm just going to teach you some ways on how to do that. But a little bit, oh, actually, can we share the screen?
Sure.
Because I do have a presentation.
Oh, yes. Do I need to make you? Can you share it yet? Should ask me. There you go. Make some tea. We're working.
There we go. Okay, so a little bit about me. I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist. I've been a hypnotherapist for about 5 years now. Um, I have spent over a decade of studying the mind body spirit connection, and it's kind of something I've always been passionate about, but I did not start in that. I actually started in the dental field, and that was the first almost 22 years of my life that I spent in the dental field, working as a dental assistant and then also in the front office. And so I always found myself working with the dentist and the teams and watching the dynamic of um, how everybody interacted and how the stress levels were. And um, it just really it got me into wanting to empower people and move into a space of helping people understand like how their bodies affected them. Even though I didn't have any knowledge about it, I was just pulled into that. And so COVID hit, and I was working as like a remote dental billing insurance person. I had a little consulting company that I had a couple of people that would work with me, and we would work remotely for dental offices, and everything shut down. And I knew that I wanted to still help people, but I wasn't sure how. And in the middle of things, I decided that I wanted to work with women and empower them in some way. And so I started doing these retreats in the woods for women. And we would do these weekend retreats where we would go out and we would do some yoga, and we would do some breath work, and we would do some empowerment activities. And it just kind of built upon itself, and that led me to a lady who offered hypnotherapy. I didn't know much about it, but it intrigued me, and so I became certified in that and worked with her for a little while. And that is really what has changed and led me on this path of understanding that we really do hold all the power in our minds and that we are in full control, but we've been conditioned a lot by different things, traumas that we hold on to, things that our brains maybe couldn't process at the time. And now there's a way that we can start to shift that so that we don't have to carry those things, so that we can not live in the old patterns that we repeat sometimes. So that's what got me into it. But I want to talk about what hypnosis really is. Um, Hypnosis or hypnotherapy is a natural focused state of awareness. So hypnotherapy, it works, you are moving into the brain waves of the theta state, which is like the daydream state. So I'm sure that every single one of you go into the daydream state probably at least once a day, especially when you're driving. You may be thinking about your grocery list, or you're thinking about other things, and you get to where you're going, and then you wonder how many lights you've driven through, and you really haven't. You're really in control, but your mind is somewhere else. And so in hypnosis, it works the same way. You are able to relax your body, and when you do, it puts your conscious mind to rest. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the way that that works in a moment. But hypnotherapy, it helps to bridge the conscious and the subconscious mind. So there are two parts to your mind. The subconscious, it is where you take in all of your truth. So any thoughts that you have throughout your day, they start in your subconscious. And you take in thousands of thoughts every single day. Um, every moment you're thinking about something. And your conscious mind has to discern what the truths are going to be. So again, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that to explain, but using hypnosis is a tool for positive change and self-awareness. And it really is just being able to become aware of the things that you want to change. And then it gives you the power to start to change those things. Now, what hypnosis is not, um, you do not lose control. So people can tend to think that you're being powered by somebody, or like my picture, the puppets. It's nothing like that. You are in full control the entire time that you are under hypnosis, or in the trance state is what they call it. Some people go into a very light trance state where you hear everything that's going on around you, but your body is relaxed. And then some people go a little deeper where they do start to allow their mind to wander off to different places. And you may think about things that you need to do during the day, or something that happened during the day, or you're just creating something in your mind, but you're still aware that you're here. So you kind of come back and forth. And then you can also fall asleep, but you don't go deep enough into a sleep where you don't, like, your mind still hears what's being said to you. So, but it's just a very, very light trance state that you go in. But like I said at the beginning, you cannot be made to do anything that you do not want to do. You're not going to ever go against your morals or your ethics or anything like that, no matter what is being said to you. If you're not willing to accept it, then it's not going to happen. So I try to explain to a lot of my clients that come in, or people that are going to be potential clients, whenever you're going to do hypnosis and you're going to change something, a lot of people come in for smoking. They want to quit smoking. But oftentimes it's because their spouse or a loved one wants them to quit, and it doesn't work that way. If the person who is going to be doing the quitting, if they're not really at that level of wanting to quit, then it can happen, but it's usually short-lived, and then they pick the habit back up. So anytime that you are going to experience hypnosis, you really do want to have the want to change whatever it is that you want to change, even if you don't know how to. But it's not mind control, or magic. It's not always easy to make changes, but it's very simple to use the technique, and you can use it while you're going to sleep. That's how most people do it, um, so that you can start making the changes that you want to make. So any questions or anything so far?
Nope.
Nope.
You're good.
All right. So I want to talk about why hypnosis works, and this is the power of your mind. So when I was talking about the conscious versus the subconscious, so I want you to picture your mind like a garden. And your mind is this fertile soil that allows anything to grow. So it's the most fertile soil that you've ever had. And your thoughts are like seeds. And so you have, like I said, thousands of thoughts that are coming in a day. So you've got thousands of seeds that are being planted into your fertile soil every single day. And it's up to you to decide which ones that you're going to nurture, which ones you're going to water to grow, because a lot of those seeds will take root. Remember, you have very fertile soil. So even if you're not completely tending to it, things can grow. And what I mean by that is, if you tend to speak to yourself negatively, like saying things like, "Oh, why did you do that?" or that's stupid," or sometimes um, that can stick. That's a seed soil. And what happens is that starts to take root. And when that takes root, that becomes one of your beliefs. And we don't realize that whenever we are taking in some things, they're not really our truths. A lot of by people that are around us, especially when we're little and we don't know what truths are, and so we rely on other people to help us with our truths. And so we take in a lot of things that maybe are other people's truths, and we have based our belief systems around that. And so again, it's really important to start becoming aware of the seeds that you are planting. So if you are pulling in thoughts that aren't serving you, thoughts that aren't moving you in a forward direction, that aren't making you happy, that aren't making you feel joyful, then you want to make sure that you start to remove those seeds and you start planting the seeds that you want. But in order to do that, it takes using your imagination. And when you use your imagination, it helps to activate real physical responses. We were taught to believe that your imagination is make believe, but using your imagination is actually where creation begins. If you didn't have imagination, you could never create anything. So we get to use our imagination in hypnosis. And the beautiful thing about your mind is that your mind doesn't know the difference between a thought, a memory, a visualization. It's all the same to your mind, which means that hypnosis and visualization can be a really powerful tool to start making changes because your mind doesn't know the difference between any of it. And when your mind gets something put in it, it starts to grow, just like the seeds. And when it starts to grow, then your mind takes that on as truth. So if we're planting all of this beautiful stuff in our garden, then we're going to have things to pull from to be able to shift and move in the ways that we want to. So in a few minutes, we are going to do a couple of things where I'm actually going to do a demonstration and then do another one where everybody gets to participate. So I hope that you all will. But before we do that, I want to bust a few common myths about hypnosis. And I want to know if there's, and you all can speak up, like cut me off, put stuff in the chat. I can't see the chat right now, I'll pull it up. But let me know if there's anything that you've heard about hypnosis or anything that maybe, you think about hypnosis, that we can say that it's true or that it's not. So three common things that I've heard of is one that I've talked about before, which is that hypnosis is mind control. You're always in control. No matter what I say, no matter what I do on my end, you are always in full control. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't use your imagination and pretend that you are not in control, but you're always in control. And then I've heard that only weak-minded people can be hypnotized. Like, again, the class clowns, the ones that are easily manipulated. But that's very false. It actually requires focus and relaxation. And a lot of people don't allow themselves to relax enough to get into a hypnotic state. And so that's actually why they can't be hypnotized. So if you can allow yourself to become relaxed to the best of your ability, then you can allow your mind to go into the theta waves. They do it anyway whenever you're in the daydream state. And then just that it's entertainment, that it doesn't really work, it's all a show, but it's actually a very powerful therapeutic tool if you allow it. And there's so many things that we can do to work on our mind and our body and our spirit. This is just another one of those tools. And it's very effective for a lot of people, but like I said, you have to have an open mind and you have to want the changes that you are going to make in order for those changes to happen. So Angela asked, can one change happen in one session or does it take a couple to practice getting into the state of mind? So very good question. It really depends on the person and the situation. So I've worked with people, I'll use smoking for example. So a lot of times with smoking, people have a hard time because they feel like it's something that they really cannot quit. They've tried different things. They've tried the patches. They've tried cold turkey. Nothing seems to work for them. And so their mindset they've already told themselves that this is not going to work. Now, I worked with a gentleman that he'd smoked for about 35 years. His coworkers smoke, his wife smokes, his mom smokes. He's around everybody that smokes. And we did one session and he quit. He actually threw his pack away and he didn't pick any others up. I met with him 6 months later because he had a dream that he smoked and it freaked him out and he thought that maybe that was a sign that he was going to. And so we did another session. And it's been about 3.5 years, and I do check in with them. I work with the whole family, and he still has not smoked. Now, I've worked with other people where it takes a few sessions, depending on, sometimes you can get about 95% somewhere, but then there's just one little thing that keeps getting you, or maybe you do have a thought that keeps ruminating, and so we do a different session and hit it from a different angle. But it just depends. There's no magic formula. I wish there was for that. It just depends on who you are, what you want, and how much you trust in the process. So
Do you have a costume like that you wear when
I don't, but I should
you
maybe.
should?
That's my entertainment, the dog. Um, but it's hypnotherapy again. It's such a beautiful thing because you're handed the power to yourself. So, whenever I talked about self hypnosis a little bit, you are able to hypnotize yourself if you wanted to. A lot of people don't want to because they think they can't, or they think that you have to have a special voice or whatever. And if you wanted to do it, I guess professionally, you would work on the tone and the way that you do things. But you also have to remember that you're used to your voice. Your body is used to the tone of your voice, which means that it's easier to follow suit of your own voice. And so it would be very easy for you to do your own recording and say things that you want to make changes with, and then you listen to that at the end of the night. And I would guarantee that you would start feeling and those changes and seeing those changes. But again, not everybody wants to do that, so that's where I come in.
So I've recorded a like a vision statement that is all the things that I am seeking in life or that I'm working towards, and I listen to
Visualization, or um, a lot of, oh, I'm not frozen, okay. A lot of things are very similar, but if you were to allow yourself to get in a very relaxed state first, so just kind of envisioning relaxing every part of your body and then going into listening to that, it would maybe, I mean, not saying that it doesn't stick.
yeah.
Your mind, when you're repeating something consistently, your mind takes it on as truth. When you hear something a lot, your mind starts taking that on as truth, and then your body follows suit. So,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
It's cool. I didn't realize that was the same.
very
I've been
similar.
hypnotizing
Yeah,
myself for a
very,
while.
very similar. So I want to do a couple. Oh, I hit my. I did the reflex. I hit my knee and it
Oh,
reflexed.
yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to do a couple of demonstrations, and I want to show you all how this works and how you can use your imagination and the power of your own mind to move your body. And even though this is a demonstration, you all are welcome and encouraged to participate. So you all can be on camera, you can be off camera. Again, I'm not trying to put you on display, but if you're brave enough and you really want to get into this, and you want to make sure that you're doing it right, then you're welcome to be on camera. But I need a volunteer, so I'm going to volunteer you,
Oh,
Scott.
look at the time.
And you can come into the screen. So this demonstration, like I said, it's to show you how to use your imagination with lightness and heaviness. And so and I'll explain something before we start. So your conscious mind, I want you to think of that. I told you that your mind is like a garden, like fertile soil. You've got this garden that you're growing, but you also hired this old farmer Ted, which is your conscious mind. And old farmer Ted is kind of stuck in his ways. And he has been watching over the garden, and he knows what grows, and he makes sure that the seeds are taken care of, but he doesn't really care if they're weeds or other things. He's comfortable, he knows what grows. And so when you try to introduce new things to Farmer Ted, he doesn't always take those because he wants to make sure protected, and that's exactly what your conscious mind does. It wants to protect you at all cost, which is where your fight or flight or fawn comes from. And the conscious mind, whenever something new is introduced, a lot of times it will block what's happening because it does go into that protection mode. If you've never experienced it before, then your conscious mind doesn't know if you can survive it or not. So if you have lived through some traumas and you survived, sometimes those can replay in your mind, and it's because Farmer Ted is used to those. So even if, again, even if it's not ideal, it's easy for us to move back into thoughts that we've had before because we survived. So what we want to do in hypnosis is we are putting Farmer Ted to rest. We're going to put him out in the pasture. We're not going to let him participate in this part. Whenever the conscious mind is at rest, it opens up the subconscious where the thoughts start. And what we want to do is we want to fill the bucket that Farmer Ted pulls from with new thoughts and new ideas. So whenever he goes to pull that fruit, then it's going to be fruit that you wanted there, not the fruit that he was used to taking care of before. So, but in order to do all of this, you have to use your imagination. And what I mean is you have to play along with my words, okay? So this is the only time that we get to do this as adults. We should do this more because this is how we create our reality. And again, your body will follow what your mind tells it if you allow it to and if you play along with it. And the more that you do that, the more your mind will take anything that you're doing on as truth. So what we're going to do is I want you to hold your left hand with your palm up, and then I want you to have your right hand with your palm down. All right, and then make them level. And you all can do this while you're at home. I want you can practice this too, or you can just watch. So in your left hand, I want you to imagine that I am placing a heavy book, okay? And now you've got muscles, but I'm going to place a heavy book in your hand, and I want you to hold this heavy book in your hand, okay?
So are my eyes open?
You can have your eyes open or
Okay.
closed, however you can concentrate and imagine. So, but you are holding a heavy book in your hand, okay? In your left hand. I just want you to hold it for a minute. So just imagine what it feels like. Maybe you can picture it in your mind a little bit. Maybe it's a thick book. Maybe it's leather bound, or maybe yours is fuzzy. Maybe it has a Now you've got two books in your left hand that you're holding, okay? You can picture it however you want to, and I just want you to hold these books in your left hand for a minute. I'm going to place one more book in your hand,
Come
okay?
on now.
So I'm going to place one more book on your left hand. And if I was holding three books in my hand, it'd probably be getting really heavy about now. So if I were to feel what that feels like in my hand, do you feel like you can hold it in the same place? Is it getting heavier? If you were really holding three books in your hand, how's that going to feel? Are you going to hold it up, or is it going to feel a little bit lower? How's it going to feel to you?
It's I'm feeling pretty strong right now,
Okay.
but I do feel a little tension in my bicep.
You have a little tension? Okay. Okay, good, good. So still holding the book in your hand, okay?
Okay.
You've got the three books. I'm going to take a bucket of apples, and I'm going to have to place that on your books,
Oh my
okay?
goodness.
So
Hold on, let me prep.
So I've got this bucket of apples on the three books, okay?
Okay.
So you've got really good muscles because you're holding it in the same exact spot where you had it before. So you're really strong, and I'm proud of you for that. But on the other hand, I'm going to tie a balloon around your wrist, okay? I want you to close your eyes for this because I want you to really imagine what we're doing.
Okay.
So I'm going to tie a white string around your wrist that has a red balloon that's attached to it. And this balloon has magic helium in it, okay? And this magic helium can make you feel like your arm is just floating in midair. So your right hand has this balloon on it, and it makes your arm and hand feel so light, and it feels so good because you don't have to hold anything. You just have this balloon that's tied to your wrist, and there's nothing. It can feel pretty weightless. But then over here in this left hand, you're still holding three books and a bucket of apples in your hand.
Right.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have to add some oranges on top of these apples because I don't want to hold them. So I'm going to let you hold some oranges that are on top of the 3 books that are in the bucket with the
Dang.
apples, okay? But now your right hand still has this nice, wonderful, light balloon, and it feels so good and light and airy. And you're still holding this bucket and these books in this right hand, this left hand. But the right hand can feel so light and so airy. How you feeling right now?
I'm feeling my I'm feeling like I'm at work and I've just carried a whole bunch of stuff up the hill and I have to keep carrying it. It's like one of those crampy feelings.
Uh-huh. Okay, you can stop because you look silly.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. What happened is, so your
So
hands,
I wasn't even paying
like,
attention when.
well, your hands moved. So
Okay.
you did move. And your left hand started to, your fingers opened and your fingers started to curl a little bit,
Really?
like they were like
Oh
tensing up a
no.
little bit. And your other hand just kind of floated and it was in the same spot, like you held it very, very calmly, but
Hmm.
the other hand. So when you use your imagination and you allow yourself to start to feel, sometimes you'll start to feel physical sensations within your body. And it's hard to tell whether it's your imagination or if you're really feeling it sometimes.
So do you have like a hot tub hypnosis that like, I could do
where
now?
you
Because
can where you can dip in your shoulders.
I was
Yes.
done working for the day, but dang, I had to carry books and apples up the hill.
So I just wanted to show a way, and I don't know if you all tried it at home or you just watched the silliness. But if you were to try it, you can make yourself actually start to feel. So sometimes you'll feel the physical sensations, or you'll find that your hands do start to part because you're holding something and you've got one that's floating and one that's heavier. Um, any questions about using your imagination, or any thoughts or any comments about this demonstration?
Did I look like a fool?
I think that's really fascinating and it totally makes sense because whatever you're telling your mind believes it whether it's real or not. So I definitely want to try that with a friend. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
It definitely, yeah, it's and the more that you play around with it, and again, the more that you allow your imagination to run free, it's harder for adults because we've been trained not to. But if a child were to do this, I guarantee like it would be like
Mm.
totally, because they allow themselves to be in that space and they allow themselves to feel and pretend. So the more that you can pretend and play along with the words, the better that hypnosis works for you, because it opens up the subconscious and it is taking it in as the truth. So
Mm.
exactly what you said, Angela.
You done? What? No.
Oh, um, so yes, I'm done.
Get
I'm
off the
done.
screen.
So I do have a group demonstration that I would like everybody to do, and you don't have to be on screen again if you don't want to, but if you want to participate, I would love for you to, so you can kind of get to see how this feels for yourself. And I want to demonstrate how you use your 5 senses to open up your mind and to help move things through. And so um, this one is called the lemon experience. And you all may have done this before. If you have, do it again. If you have not, then this is a really fun one to do, especially when you get other people to do it. So what I want you to do is, and it's best if you close your eyes, because a lot of times, you just can imagine better when your eyes are closed. But I want you to get comfortable for a minute and just close your eyes. And we are going to imagine that you are in your kitchen. So I want you to close your eyes and pretend like you can see your kitchen in your mind. And I hope that most of you can do that. Um, um, so closing your eyes, picturing your kitchen in your mind, picture where everything is, where the counter, the refrigerator, the garbage can, whatever your kitchen looks like. And I want you to imagine that you are walking over to your refrigerator and you slowly open the refrigerator door. So maybe you can hear the sound when the little plastic piece sticks to the edge, or maybe that's just mine because I have kids. Uh, Maybe you can feel the wind, like when you open the refrigerator and you feel that cold breeze come out, the light comes on. And I want you to imagine that you have a drawer in your refrigerator, and in the drawer are fruits and vegetables. And you decide that you are going to pull out a lemon. So you can open the drawer and grab the lemon, and it's probably cold in your hand. And I want you to imagine what it feels like. You can feel the rind in your hand. Maybe one end has the stem end on it. To your counter. And on your counter is a cutting board and a knife. And it's already out. So just imagine that on your counter, you've got your cutting board, you've got your knife, and you take the lemon over to the cutting board and you pick the knife up in one hand and you're holding the lemon steady with the other, and you cut through the lemon. When you cut through it, it may make a sound. Maybe there were some juices that splashed up on you, but just imagine that now you have two halves of a lemon on your cutting board. Maybe there's some juice now on your cutting board too. And I want you to take one of those halves and I want you to cut that in half. So now you have two quarter pieces. And then I want you to put the knife down so that you can be safe. And I want you to pick the lemon quarter up with your dominant hand and move it up slowly to your nose. And I want you to imagine what that lemon smells like. I'm sure you've smelled a lemon before, so just imagine smelling this lemon. You can smell the rind, you can smell that good citrus flavor. And then I slowly want you to move it to your mouth. I want you to stick out your tongue, and I want you to place the lemon on your tongue and give it a little squeeze. And just see what that tastes like and what that feels like in your mouth. And then once you've done that, you can open your eyes. And I want you all to share with me what you noticed. What was your experience? Were you able to smell? Were you able to hear the sounds? Did you feel anything? Did your cheeks get the little like tension whenever you tasted the lemon? Or did nothing happen at all?
My mouth was.
Lots of saliva.
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I visualized everything, and I cut the lemon, cut it, like put it to my mouth, and I love lemons, by the way. So I'm like, I squeezed mine into my mouth, and my mouth just filled with water, like liquid saliva, like that.
Yes.
That was my reaction. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's awesome. Yes.
Mhm.
That's it.
Thanks.
Yeah, so the power of your mind and your imagination to be able to create a physical sensation within your body. And anybody else want to share?
I could hear the slicing of it and feel it. Definitely had some. I had yeah, some salivation occurring, but then I also had this little moment where I thought, how am I gonna cut it? Am I gonna cut it lengthwise? And then I started cutting it lengthwise, and I cut right through the stem that you said was on it or could be on it, and then I was like, had to adjust my cut, get around the stem. It created this whole ordeal.
But that's good though, because that means you were using your imagination. That's actually a good thing. You were you were in it and you were visualizing, which is allowing you to be in the moment with it. And so you were doing exactly what you're supposed to do. So that's good, even if you were overthinking it.
I
Angela,
imagined the lemon like when I cut it, it tilted and like how it rocked, like how the piece that I wasn't holding rocked and like rolled on the cutting board. And then I agree with Virginia when she said there was a lot of saliva at the thought of taking a bite of it.
yeah. So see, that's awesome too, because you were using your imagination. You were also using a little bit of memory, to be able to see it, but it's like you were there in that moment experiencing it. And your mind doesn't know the difference between whether you really are experiencing it or if you're imagining. And so that's how hypnosis works. And that's why it's so beautiful, because we're able to do this. And this is just one way that you can prove to yourself that, without anything. I'm choking on the lemon. um, Without having anything physically, that you can allow your mind to believe something enough to cause the physical sensations. Um, Angela was saying she got that sour reaction on her tongue. I often, whenever I do the exercise and I really let myself get into it, I'll get the pinch like in the back of my jaw. And so it's just a fun little experiment that you can do. I do it with the girls, and this is something that whenever I have somebody come in to, especially if they don't know if they are, they think that they can't be hypnotized or something. I'll walk them through this exercise so that they can see how easy it is to allow our minds to create something that can feel very real. Um, oh, Virginia smelled pledge instead of a real lemon, but see, it uses it. It will pull from memory so that it can trigger something for you. So I know that smell. I'll get that smell often, whenever I'm doing this exercise. So
I literally just bought Pledge because I needed to dust my house. So I wonder if that has something to do with it.
it could be it worked. It worked out either
I was
way.
like, what is going on?
So hypnosis is really this easy. Um, it's super effective whenever you allow yourself to go into the state that you went into just a moment ago, where you allow your five senses to take over. You use your imagination to picture vividly. So that's why I say that what you were talking about, Scott, with cutting differently, and then you were trying to cut different ways. You are allowing your imagination to move into a space of something that you would do, and so it was taking it on as belief. And your since your mind doesn't know the difference between thoughts and imagination and visualization, this is just a super cool tool that you can use to really start shifting the ways that you think and the ways that you act and feel. So any questions about any of those, or thank you all for sharing your experiences too. It's always fun to hear what happens with people. The last thing that I want to share then, if nobody has anything else, is just a few practical ways to use hypnosis in your daily life. So you can use hypnosis to calm your nervous system. And it can be as simple as telling yourself to take a deep breath, count 3, 2, 1, relax on the out breath. And when you do that, your whole body can start to feel like it's relaxing. Just taking a deep breath in and out can allow your body to relax. But when you're telling your mind to relax, your body will follow suit with that. So that's a really quick tool that you can use, and you can use it consciously, or you can record it and listen to it. But it's taking a deep breath in, 3, 2, 1, relax on the out breath. Another way that hypnosis can help you in your daily life is to release those old habits that are no longer serving you. And we all have those. We have things in our life that maybe worked for us at one time, and it served us well, but it doesn't anymore. And so hypnosis is just a great way to be able to change that very easily by removing those old weeds and seeds that you don't want and replacing them with the things that you do. It can also help to build confidence, and it can help you focus. Focus is a big one. A lot of people get distracted very easily, And with today's technology and social media and all the things, it's very easy to get distracted, but it can also, with social media and some of that can hinder your confidence. And so, hypnosis is a great way to be able to boost your self esteem and step back into your confidence so that you're feeling good and you can do whatever you need to do. But the main thing, it helps you to align with new thoughts that do serve you, and which is the best thing ever. So if you're, wanting to change things and the way that you think and the way that you feel about things, then hypnosis is just such a great tool to be able to do that. Um, for all of you that are on here, just some final thoughts. Your imagination is your creative power. Hypnosis is a tool for conscious creation, and I will encourage you to stay curious about your inner world. The more that you know about yourself, the more that you are aware of yourself, then you can start to change those things that aren't fitting your life and step into the things that are, so that you really can live a purpose filled life. And just remember that your mind is always in motion. So, what you imagine today becomes what you experience tomorrow. So, what you think becomes your reality. Use that power with intention so that your entire life begins to shift. That is all. That is the presentation.
Wow.
I'm about to start telling myself I'm not sick.
Yes.
I have two
Oh my
questions.
gosh.
Sorry. I didn't think it was I didn't have a good moment to ask questions. I didn't think it was into that moment that you're teaching. Is it too late to ask two questions?
Please ask away.
Okay, cool. And by the way, I was really getting into the lemon, like, because I'm a chef, so like I really like try to appreciate those process. Like I could feel the oil on my skin a little bit and stuff. Like I really think about that essential oil. And I was really getting into it. And I actually had a pretty bad taste in my mouth because I like was running late and I drove all the way down from North Carolina. But right as like the apex of that happened, my dog was like freaking out. I think he was like going after like a possum or something out in the yard. So I kind of lost my concentration on it. But I will say, as a result, I had a way less bad taste in my mouth. Like I had a really bad taste in my mouth, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, now I have a pleasant taste in my mouth. So it worked a little bit. So I was curious about. Oh wait, no, I forgot my question. Oh yeah. I'm like one of those people that has a really hard time giving in to um like either relaxing or other things. And I was curious because I've a while ago I used to do a bunch of like guided meditations. I do like some personal meditation a lot of times in the woods, really simple stuff, whether it's breathing or imagining things. But I went to some meditations with like a qigong guy, and they were like 40 minutes long or whatever. And afterwards, I said, "So how would that work out for you?" And everyone's like, "Oh man, I was like totally out of my body. I could look down and see myself." And I was like, "Dude, all I could think about was how my like cheek itched." And I never really like had that experience. Do you find similarities between like meditation and hypnosis, or like self hypnosis? Like, how do those two things differ? Or are they kind of just different versions of the same thing?
That was actually my question too, because it seems like it's along the same lines or a type of, or I don't know.
Because a lot of it is like, especially in like the Tai Chi base or Qigong, you like visualize balls of energy and you can have them like come into your body and go through your like heart channels and your pakwas, and you can clean out like spiritual or emotional blockages by actually visualizing a clean, pure ball of light to do that. And so I've been able to do that sometimes, and feel like I get my energy going better. But I guess what's your response? Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. So they are very similar, but the techniques are a little bit different and the mechanics are a little bit different. So with hypnosis, you'll always want to go into a relaxed state first. So it's kind of like meditation, but you're really intentional and you're focused on relaxing every part of your body. So you're not trying to let your thoughts go. You're just putting focus in a very specific space. And whenever you do that, that helps to slow down the conscious mind. And when the conscious mind is slow, that's when you can start saying the things that you want to take in. and change the focus. But as far as like, I'm not awesome at meditation, like being able to just sit and kind of clear my mind. I have to do more what I call focus meditations where I'm awake and doing those. But I have found that when I give myself a chance to relax my body first, that I'm able to take in information a lot better. It's just,
Mm.
it opens up a space in my mind for that. And so, again, a little different than meditation because you're not just trying to slow thoughts down or let thoughts move through. You can literally think about whatever you want during hypnosis as long as there's something, you want something playing. You don't want to repeat it to yourself just saying. That's a little, you can't really go into the trance state that you need to and repeat things to yourself. So you would want to record whatever it is that you're saying to listen to it.
So if I'm hearing you right, like meditation is almost, somebody put it once, like trying to silence the monkeys that are constantly screaming in your brain, and like literally trying to get to like actually have zero thought, like
Right.
to almost imagine like just the rippling water or whatever. And like, so that's a way to silence that. And then with the hypnosis, you're saying it's more of a focus, like you can focus in on one thing, but not actually give up on the thinking.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And then, I don't know if someone else had a question, but my other question, was like, for a lot of people, things either like meditation or hypnosis that's achieved through psychedelics like ayahuasca or like a DMT even or something like that. And what I was curious about with that, again, I'm someone who, I would say I've taken significant amounts of hallucinogens, and while everybody else like has sort of lost the ability to maintain a sense of reality, I've always, like I said, I've always been able to keep like a tether to the ground, like, so everybody else there, hot air balloon is floating off, and I'm like, I never cut the final rope, which has come in handy when like things have gone south and I've been able to like still stay in control. But certain things like DMT, I've tried that and everyone's like, get ready, like better sit down. And I sit there and after 20 minutes, I'm like, can I go do something else, man? This isn't working. And everyone's like, what? How's that possible? And so the question there is, do you find that people who don't seem to be able to let their mind wander on like hallucinogens, or a correlation between that and people who like don't seem to be able to allow themselves to be hypnotized? Are they got the same brain then? Similar?
A really, really good question. It's not a topic that's come up a lot, so I don't.
Oh wait, you froze. Can you hear me? I need you to repeat that.
It's on my website. It's free. You can download it, and it's just to help you.
I missed all that. I'm sorry, you froze on my end.
No, you're good. I have a free hypnosis session on my
Oh,
website
okay.
that anyone can listen to, just to see if it's something that it walks you through the guided relaxation first, but it's to help release stress and anxiety while you sleep. Uh,
Mm.
so I would, again, because I don't know if people that, you know, eh, don't have effects with certain hallucinogens, if this would work differently. I'm really not sure, but you could try it and then you
Oh.
could let me know so I could tell people.
Yeah, I've done quite a bit of personal research, but maybe I should do a little bit more.
Well, I find it interesting.
That was a joke.
uh, I find it interesting that uh, I didn't realize a lot of the things like that I've been doing for a while have been kind of along that same lines of some techniques that I learned in some of the coaching courses that I took a while ago were basically hypnosis, except for um, it's a lot around. I mean, and we've actually done some of these exercises in the New Year's resolution event, and we're going to do them again. So I think you just kind of took it to a whole nother level of one, realizing what it is, that if you're making a statement and recording it and trying to do it in a calm, calm way, that's you're creating your own hypnosis. But then listening to it in a time when you're relaxed is also important, because I think I've listened to it usually while I'm driving, when I'm relatively relaxed while I'm driving, but also in the shower. But it'd probably be good to listen to it like while I'm falling asleep, have it play a couple times or play on repeat or something like that
Yeah,
when
because
I
I mean,
first get up.
you can not control, what was the word I was looking. You can train your conscious mind to believe what you're saying, but it takes a lot more effort to do that. So this is just like the bypass. You can get into that relaxed state, and it puts the conscious mind at rest that would try to block things sometimes, and you just start taking everything in. And so yeah, but in order to get into that state, you have to have your brain waves in the theta state. And in order to do that, your body has to be relaxed.
Well,
Jenny, I heard this term once. This is more of a comment, but like, I don't know if you've heard this or not, if this is like even a thing, or maybe it's just one person's term, but they called it like social hypnotism. And it's a term I like this wherever I learned this from. And so I've used it again. And their sort of example was like, say you're like going to work and like you can't find your keys. And then like you go out and you step in a puddle or whatever. And then like something else happens, you slip on the way, and then you get to work, so a series of like sort of quote unquote bad things happen. And you get two people, the exact same thing happens to them both, right? They're twins in the same universe or whatever. And then one gets to work and they're like, hey, how's your day going so far? And that person's like, oh man, life sucks so bad. And man, I stepped in a puddle, like, oh, like poor, like, woe is me. Like, can anything go any worse? And then the other person comes in with the exact same information. They're like, well, it's silly old me, lost the keys again. And like, I guess I got a nice wake up call with that puddle. And unfortunately, things aren't going like that great, but man, am I psyched, woke up to a beautiful day outside and, I've got so much to be happy about. Is like, do you consider that a form of personal hypnotism, or is that just having a positive attitude about life?
I think you could use hypnosis to get to that second perspective.
Okay.
Shift the perspective into that. Absolutely.
Well, and I guess they were putting it as like, not only putting yourself there, but like how, and that's why they call it social hypnotism, like how to draw more people into your fold of energy, I guess, was like, who wants to be around the humbug when the other person, you're like, man, look at all the stuff that went wrong, and you're just like still in this great mood. And so you're kind of like spreading this sense of social hypnotism. I don't know if that was like a real thing or whatever. I just like that term,
I
but
like that. I mean, that makes sense. I'll start using that.
just
Yeah.
bring a good mood with you. Like life could always be worse, I guess, but I don't know if that's necessarily hypnotic. It's just being positive, I guess. Anyway, thanks.
I think you can hypnotize people with your positivity.
oh yeah.
Well, you can also irritate people with positivity, though. Apparently, my sister's one of those people. The happier I am, the more it irritates her. Like, man, are you ever in a bad mood? Like, yeah. I guess it's both sides of that sword, or whatever.
Mm. That's great.
Well, thank you so much. That was really awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you all.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, thanks, Jenny. Looking forward to meeting you one day. I didn't recognize you because I saw a AI version of your photo.
Oh, goodness.
And,
Beautiful smile.
I know.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
I know. I saw that picture and I was like, wait a minute, did she hypnotize me to think that she doesn't have a messed up grill? Like, wait, what's going on?
That was a real good one. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, listen. I mean, he was showing us at work, and I'm like, somebody else, and he goes, "Here she is before, and here she is after." I'm like, "Hold on a minute." And I ran over there and I said, "Let me see the before." And then he showed me the before and showed me the after. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, it was
And
good.
and she works as a dental assistant. I'm like, what? I was like, "Holy shit! There's more gums than teeth."
That's the funniest picture that I've ever seen of myself. I'm going to use it with something. I don't know
Yeah.
what to use it
Okay.
for. Yeah, that's good.
Yeesh.
Oh, I love that. I was like, I saw it and I was like, oh my God. And I like got on and deleted it right away. And then
Yeah.
I checked. I was like, has she seen it yet? No. Okay, good. And then and then I got over on the Seneca Treehouse page and it was on there too. I was like, no, it's in two prices. Which means four because
Fire drill.
it's
And
on.
I think Carly, who was
Oh,
here,
she
she
shared.
shared
Oh
it.
no, gosh.
It's out there. It's out there for everyone.
Baby bird.
Hey, it's only fair to render Scott the same way.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Oh Lord. Well, yeah. Well, guys, thank you for.
We can add the photo at the end of the video edit for the YouTube channel.
Yes, yes, yes. Ah,
Hey, Virginia, it's funny. You just put that comment on the chat about like a negative experience and say like how that works. Like I literally just did that today. I was running late today because I had to be up in Franklin at like 3. And then I wound up taking a route that's supposed to go over the mountains. And then I got there and there was like the road was just stopped and I was stuck for like 10 minutes and they turned everybody around and there must have been an accident or something. And all I could think to myself was like, I was so stressed and running late and whatever. And I was like, man, if I had been on time, I probably would have been in that accident.
Right.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, so that's exactly like I just
that-
experienced that today. And I was like,
that's so funny that you say that because in traffic is when I experience that like the absolute most. I'm like, well, you know what? If everything would have gone all right this morning, it would have probably been me up there causing all the traffic. Yeah.
and then I was gonna like, I was up near, it was just north of Cashers. And then I like turned around and I was like, well, I guess I'll have to call this dude and tell him I have to reschedule. Um, and then everybody else had turned around, took a right up, going south. So they were going west. And so I wound up just being like, well, might as well follow these people. And it wound up weirdly being like a minute shorter than it would have, like, I don't know, wound up being, and it was like this beautiful drive over the mountains with all the foliage and everything. And I was like, that was like the best turnaround ever. Like 1 minute I'm in the car, like, like my worst luck, like I'll never get there. Then I was like 10 minutes later, I'm driving over this beautiful mountain road with all this view of the whole Blue Ridge Mountains. I was like, dang, dude, that's why you just don't get stressed, man. Just trust the process.
I do think it's okay to get stressed because I think that stress is sometimes the catalyst that keeps us safe. But I think it's all about trusting our bodies and how we feel in that moment. So if like you have to be late, okay, you have to be late. That's fine. If your body's really like screaming something, like danger, just listen to it. So I try to like accept that feeling now more so than I used to.
Well, the great climax of that was that I got there because I was meeting this guy at this holistic market where I was doing a product tasting. And then when I got there, he's like, oh man, thank God you were late. Like it was super busy. I finally got a break like right before you came in. So it all was like, man, it was perfect. Yeah, right. So the universe definitely worked out great. So thank you.
That's beautiful.
Well, you're the owner, so
I'm not the owner anymore. I'm back to being Chef Eric.
I see that.
I don't know how. I just, I only own this meeting for like 5 minutes. I have no idea where that came. I don't even know how I logged in differently. I like had to re-log in and it's a different picture. I'm like, where did this stuff? I don't even know where this picture came from. I don't even remember putting it in. I guess I signed in under a different account or something, but whatever. That's a better picture of me. I'm a younger man in that picture.
I agree. All right. Thanks, Scott.
All right. Yeah.
Thanks,
God
Jenny.
bless y'all so much. Thank you. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you,
Thank
everyone
you all.
else.
Mara, I hope you feel better. Virginia,
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
everybody.
Have a great night, everybody.
All right.
Good
Y'all
night.
too.
Good evening. Bye.
All right. Good night.